We build our PowerPoint slides, we draft up our talking points, we make our outlines before we stop and ask ourselves, what does my audience need? The best communicators out there that launch the most persuasive communications actually do it in reverse. They understand everything about their audience before they put together their content. So always think A, B, C, audience before content. You first stop and understand who your audience is before you craft your communication. That's putting your audience at the front and center of every piece of communication and then building the communication to serve their needs. And I think in order to do this effectively, there's two key things that you have to know about your audience. The first one is, what are their goals? And the second one is, how do they make decisions? So let's start with goals first, because this is very easy. It just requires you to answer this question. Why have these people taken time out of their busy days to come and listen to me speak? Let's say you are going to go give a pitch to a group of potential investors. What are their goals for taking time out of their busy day to come and listen to your pitch? To make money. They want to know if they can make money by investing in your business. So if you then frame your entire pitch, your entire communication around telling this group of people how they're going to make money by investing in your business, you're 10 steps ahead of everybody else in the room. Now let's go to that second question. How does your audience make decisions? You want to think about it this way. Any audience you speak to is going to fall into one of three buckets. So the first bucket is an expert audience. Now, an expert audience is a group of people that are really familiar with you as the messenger or super familiar with the topic that you're communicating about. If you are trying to persuade an expert audience, they actually don't need a lot of background. What they need in order to make a decision is the cold, hard facts. Now, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum is the second bucket, and that's a novice audience. What they actually need is to understand that they are hearing from the right messenger. That you, as the messenger, are the most credible source of information that they could be learning this stuff from for the first time. Now, it's very rare that you will actually find yourself speaking to a purely expert audience or a purely novice audience, which is why the third bucket is so powerful. Because everybody has been known to make a decision based on their emotions. So that's the third bucket. It's all audiences can be susceptible to emotional appeals. Your job as a communicator is to understand the mix in the audience that you are speaking to. So let's say you're going to pitch to that same group of investors and you identify everybody in the audience and you've got maybe a 70% expert audience, a 30% novice audience, and we know that everybody in there is susceptible to making an emotional decision. So maybe you build your communication this way. You start with a really logical, sexy data point, then let the audience know why you are credible, why you're the best messenger they can be learning from, and then you end with a story to wrap it all together and get all of the people that might fall in the gray area on that spectrum. That communication is going to be a highly persuasive communication because there's something that everybody can grab onto, which means you're going to be more successful in convincing them to follow your lead.